TitleMatchNetwork.com.
I learned Wahoo saved my ass many times. Bernie Gagne and Greg and them were trying to get me to come to the AWA during that time. They called a number of times, want me to come up there, but Wahoo always blocked it. And thank God he did, you know. Because I always thought it'd be great. Oh man, I get to go to to the AWA for a while because I wanted to work everywhere, but I never got to go because Wahoo never wanted me to leave. But then the call came from Ken Mantell, who was booking World Class at that time for Fritz, and that's when World Class was really hot, and that's where Rick Rude and I made our transition into the Texas at the time.
What were your initial memories of Fritz Von Erich when you first got into the territory, and who approached you about coming in?
Ken Mantell. Well, the Freebirds were in Florida with us. They moved on. They had been in and out of Texas a couple of times. They went back to Texas, and of course, with the ties that Michael Hayes and the Freebirds and I have, they carried our name on over there. And Ken Mantell, I had met Ken Mantell years ago before I got into the business. He came into Mobile for the Gulf Coast Wrestling Territory there as a booker for a while. And that's when he was going back and forth with Danny Hodge with the junior heavyweight championship back in those days. And I had met Ken a couple of times, and he made the call, invited us up there, and we couldn't turn it down, and we went. That was a long 6 years.
What are some of your memories of World Class and managing Rick Rude? I got a list of names from the territory I'm going to ask you about. What was Fritz Von Erich like as a boss?
Tenacious, a lot like Vince, business, strictly, and that's why they were so successful. Fritz as well as Vince. If you'd done your job, he took care of you. He always took very good care of me, and so did Vince. But I'm proud to say that I always done my job. I've always had the pride and the passion and the love for our industry that I always tried to do the right thing. I didn't always do the right thing. Of course, we all fall here and there, but here I go again. We were very blessed. But what sealed the deal with me and Fritz was little Chris Von Erich. Chris probably wanted to be a wrestler as much as his brother Mike didn't want to be a wrestler. And Chris was just so small. And he had a lot of health problems. He had asthma. He had breathing problems. And he was just small and everything. So one day I had just talking to Fritz, just sitting around BSing with him one afternoon. And me being a manager, I said, Fritz, I can do anything. Being a manager, a heel manager, I said, why don't I come up with something with Chris? He wants to work so bad. Let's come up with a little angle involving Chris. And I can remember him sitting there, yeah, Percy, if you can help him out, and I'll always remember you for that, So I'd get with Chris Von Erich down the sports farm. We'd come up with a little match. And I wrestled Chris Von Erich all over the state of Texas, probably for about a year. Bless his heart, he loved it. He had such a passion, and his brothers treated him like shit. You know how brothers are. If you got a brother, you know how brothers treat brothers. But the big brother, little brother stuff. His big brothers was Kerry Von Erich, and Kevin and David and Mike, and so he was the baby of the family, and they really treated him pretty bad there. But I really got over with Fritz when I done everything I could to help Chris and work with him everywhere. Because nobody else wanted to work with him. None of the wrestlers wanted to work with him because he was just so small.
Was he 5'5", 5'6", maybe?
Yeah, he was, and it was just a good thing. And I love Fritz. What a tough motherfucker he was. Not just a Christian man. Very devout Christian, for shoot. I mean, no play Christian there. He was just so rough and gruff and just told it like it is, and I loved him to death. And it was hard to believe that not only are all of his kids gone except for Kevin, he's gone too, and brain cancer got him. He was so. You might have heard these stories. He was so tough at the end, that. They were giving him morphine they knew he was dying. There was nothing else they could do for his cancer. And he would turn down the morphine. I don't need any morphine. I'm Fritz Von Erich.
Wow.
God rest his soul.
Was he approachable? as a boss, or did he?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. We had some kiss asses around there. You know, there is in every wrestling territory. Can I carry you brief? You know, but the guys like Vince and Fritz, they knew who the ass kissers are. You know, can I carry your briefcase? Can I get you a cup of coffee and all that shit?
Who was that in world class?
You know, Rick Hazard.
Yeah.
He's one of the referees. You know, and I had some other names.
What? Ralph Pulley, did he like die of AIDS or something?
Well,
that's
really hit home there, because Ralph Pulley is probably one of the best friends I've ever had in the business. We were very, very, very close. I could sit here and talk about Ralph for a long time.
He was an announcer, right?
Yeah, the deal with Ralph was his dad was and still is the Von Erich's attorney. His dad was and still is a very successful attorney in Dallas, and he's still Kevin's attorney. So that's where Ralph's end was. Ralph was very talented. He was a singer. He was a writer and a broadcaster, and he pretty much was a jack of all trades there, a referee and all that. And rumors go around about the AIDS stuff. You know that's neither here nor there. But Ralph was a very, very dear friend of mine that I'll just never forget. We were just brothers. My two sons called him Uncle Ralph, and I remember the day we moved away from when I joined the WWF and we moved away from Dallas, and how hard it was to leave all my friends there. And Ralph was one of the hardest ones to leave. And then about a year later he passed away. But Ralph Pulley is. I just wish y'all knew him. He missed a good guy.
How was Mark Lawrence?
Yeah, I got to talk to Mark just, I guess 3 or 4 months ago for the first time since I left World Class. He went to the seminary. He's a Methodist minister.
Oh, wow.
He has a church in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it was just a treat talking to him because that voice that he has, that very recognizable voice. And I just like you guys, and especially the ones that watch these shoot interviews here, we're all on the same page. I see where you try to compare Bill Mercer to Jim Ross or Mark Lawrence to somebody. You can't compare the announcers from 20 years ago to the announcers. There's no comparison there. Almost like you can't compare the workers. They were just perfect for their time and their place.
Definitely.
And they wouldn't be perfect today. But that time, that place, that setting, the world class, they weren't the best, but then they were. They were.
Did World Class change at all when Fritz broke off from the NWA?
Yeah, they made Rick Rude the first champion there, and everybody just kind of, for me it was great. Oh wow, I get to manage the world champion now, so I didn't think too much of it.
Did Rude change at all when he was the champion?
No,
Okay.
no, he didn't change. I didn't notice any tremendous changes there. No, other than the fact that we didn't get our regular visits from Ric Flair and
some other names real quick. Eric Embry, Memories of Eric.
Memories of Eric. Well, Eric was a few years later after we had started there, and people ask about him, because that's after the business really took a dive.
Right.
When Eric was there, when Jerry Jarrett came in and started running it as a USWA, we were there during that time. In fact, I guess the most outstanding memory in my head of Eric was the night that Eric and myself tore down the World Class banner off the walls of the Sportatorium. Talking about an emotional evening that was, because I love the Sportatorium, and I love the World Class. I love the Von Erich family, and we done this angle where the loser tears the banner down. The USWA started up, and I have a picture. Also have a picture of me and Eric. I think it's on my website. Of me and Eric ripping the World Class banner down from the walls of the Sportatorium. But Eric, he was, God, it's hard to explain. He was more of the old school type of, the old school look. Wrestling boots and the singlet or just the tights and the big belly. Like the old school. That's all the wrestlers used to look like that when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have the fireworks and the lions and tigers and bears on mine. It just wasn't like that then. Everybody was just wrestlers, boots, tights, big belly, and they got in there and wrestled. And And with Eric, I think it was just more of a timing, the right place, right time. A lot of the working men identified with him as like being one of them, the working man type of wrestler. And business came up under Eric during that time. And he has a hell of a mind for the business. He's out of the business completely now. He lives up in Kentucky, his home state of Kentucky. He ran for sheriff here a couple of years ago. And
He was a car accident.
lost. Yeah, he was in a car accident with an 18-wheeler and messed his knee up. And I think he'd already decided to quit wrestling at that point when that happened, but that really kind of sealed the deal there. But we had a lot of fun times together, we really did.
TitleMatchNetwork.com